It's a warm 85 degrees here at White Sands National Park. We've finished exploring the park and we're headed over to Three Rivers, New Mexico, so we can go check out the petroglyphs. As always, we never got an early start out of the hotel, so we didn't leave until 10:40 this morning. Checkout being 11. Got over here to White Sands and apparently came in with the crowds because everybody else was here too. There was almost no parking, but we had a nice little exhibit here in the visitor center, and then they had a 17-minute presentation to learn about the White Sands history, which was really neat. And then we headed out went to the Alkali Flats Trail, did some hiking, and then we dumped the sand out of our shoes, and now we're on the road again. After getting a quick stop at the visitor center, because you gotta get a souvenir, right? And I've been kind of enjoying all the plants of the Chihuahuan Desert, and they have this really cool field guide that you can get. So I now am the proud owner of a new Chihuahuan Desert field guide, so I can identify all the cool plants we see. So some of those ones that we saw along the road were yucca plants. There's different types of yucca plants. So depending on how tall they are, when they look more like a tree, they're called soap tree yuccas. Whereas the straighter ones are Thompson yucca. That's kind of cool. So it has all sorts of cacti, flowers, shrubs. I also got a bookmark and a cool looking magnet. I also got to ask the ranger, because in the program they said that they could dig water in the well and they could drink it. And so I asked him, why can't you drink the water anymore? And he said what happened is the farmers and the ranchers moved in and they the cattle and ran it dry to the point that they couldn't use it anymore because it was all brackish, and you can't drink the brackish water. It's too, he said it was a lot of minerals, like too many minerals, so it's not fit for drinking, which is unfortunate. He also said that the ranchers did a lot of damage to the land. They mentioned that. So that was an amazing experience. It's now 86 degrees.
East towards the Sacramento Mountains in Alamogordo. I was checking our latitude and longitude. Remember yesterday we had gone to Valley of Fires and then went a little bit further west, turned around. Further west, when we were all the way into the depths of the White Sands Monument near the Alkali Trail. That was as far west as we'd reached. Just a little further west than yesterday.
Yeah, the Alkali Flat Trail, which is anything but flat.
Well, it's flat once you get to the Alkali Flats.
Yeah.
But you gotta surf the dunes to get there.
I forgot my surfboard, so it was hard going.
They sold them at the gift shop.
I know.
Little saucers.
Yeah, some people actually did bring surfboards. I did see a few of those.
Ah.
So
Dune surfing.
it looked like a lot of fun, but it also looked like a lot of work to go back up once you come down.
Is this water on our left? I know, and the truck isn't, but...
It's a dried up pond, I think.
Is it dry?
I don't see water. It looks white sand.
Very white. We noticed that with areas that had been wet, that once the water evaporates, you have this whitish residue, which is the gypsum.
Yeah, the gypsum washes out of the mountains and comes down into the valleys here, which they kind of call like the giant bathtub with no drain. So it just settles into the valley and just doesn't drain. It just seeps into the ground. I was surprised to learn that the water table is only like a few feet below the surface of the dunes. I had no idea. I wrongly assumed that there wouldn't be much water anywhere nearby.
find its roots stay behind.
Yep, so it just becomes kind of a fixture. It's really fascinating.
Definitely, you go for a long walk out in White Sands, you can find some isolation.
Yeah, they recommend you take a lot of water with you. Wear sunscreen, a hat, have a buddy.
I noticed that the park opens at 7 a.m. That's probably your best bet if you want to do the Alkali Flats hike.
We got a plane landing right there.
Air Force Base.
Yeah. He's not actually landing. He's going back up. Oh, there's two of them. So maybe they're doing some flights. I was gonna say, that sounded a lot louder than those typical. Like, are we getting swooped down on? That is cool.
We wouldn't stand a chance. Some of the housing.
It says Alamogordo, right lane. Holman Air Force Base, left lane. Interesting coming back from the trail. We found some of the gypsum that was like packed together, and it was kind of like a rock, like a fish, which is neat. Kind of remind you of what crust would be like. You think of like rock crust.
Tiny.
Yeah. The brown ones were the biggest ones. We saw one little tiny bird too.
Yeah, just one. I think they're all trying to stay cool. We were out there, it was pretty hot.
Yeah. I feel like I'm still cooling off.
Yeah.
It's 86 degrees.
With the white sand, a lot of that's reflected, so you kind of get double exposure. You get the direct sun, and you got a fair amount of reflection off the sand. So not so much a heat island effect, but literally just a reflective effect.
Reminiscent of being in the Bedford bleachers.
You held a handful of sand. How did it feel to you? Was it hot?
smelled hot to me. I felt hot. You know?
Because you picked stuff up that was sitting in the sun all day. I was kind of curious.
Well, I didn't drop it.
Yeah,
so it didn't burn me.
Didn't feel hot to you, like
no.
say sand that we would experience.
Like if I was at the beach, like a normal beach on the East Coast, I would not want to do that if it was midday.
Because you know how that is, walking around barefoot in that kind of sand. It's like ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, this was not like that. Like I could have it run through my fingers, no problem.
Yeah.
So I think I was hotter than the sand. Elevation is 4,335 feet for Alamogordo. No, it definitely wasn't hot. I didn't even think about that when I did that. I was just kind of wanted to do like a video to show like what it looks like the sparkle effect.
But thinking about that, you would expect that would be scorching, right? Because the sun was brutal.
Yeah, and I just picked it right off the top, so it wasn't like I dug a hole or anything.
You're seeing what, with being white, it reflects a lot of the energy.
Yeah.
That's why we were feeling so hot walking on the sand.
Yep. So like it was cooler when we were walking out there, but the sun reflection just roasts you. It's a wear sunscreen everywhere your skin's exposed kind of thing. Otherwise you'll get burnt. A lot of people are wearing hats.
It says too fast, slow down.
Yeah. Go to the airport if you go right.
It's nice of it to let you know.
I didn't see the speed limit sign, so I must have missed it.
Yeah, I saw it.
Welcome to Alamogordo. Our home base the last 2 nights.
Probably should have been a third night. But at some point we have to start thinking about going back.
I know. It's just so beautiful, despite the heat.
Yeah, once we get out of the beauty of the desert, it'll be, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
I don't think it'll be like that.
You'll be enjoying the trees again?
I mean, it'll be cool to see the farm fields, assuming we see farm fields and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Natchez Trace Parkway ought to be beautiful. Everything I've seen about it, it looks beautiful. And there's little monuments and historical markers and such.
I think you'll like it.
I don't think I'll ever use the B word. You know?
No. Fortunately, we don't live like that.
The B word, for those wondering what it is the word bored. There's so much beauty, there's no way you could possibly be bored. It's just awe-inspiring.
I couldn't help but think about that. Where we stayed, it was really nice, except we seem to have like resident chain smokers on the first level of the motel.
Yeah.
That just sit out and smoke day and night.
That was the only, like, biggest negative of where we stayed. The second negative was they don't seem like they vacuum the rugs as much as they should.
Of course we're not into smoking. A lot of people, they are, and I guess that's fine. It's just that's all they seem to be doing.
The problem is the way the hotel is designed. It just wafts right up and gets stuck on the second floor.
But they're just sitting there watching us do everything. Like that's their entertainment, is the coming and goings of the motel parking lot.
But they did have a kitchen, a mini kitchen, which was really cool.
That's the first one we've had.
Yeah.
Well, they advertised themselves as an extended stay
place, yeah.
Yeah.
Online, they said they're very family friendly because of being able to cook meals and have a table. And they actually have 3 chairs in the room instead of, typically most rooms only have 1, which is kind of ironic because most of the time couples are traveling together and there's only 1 chair.
I could definitely see having Alamogordo as your base of operations for a period of time, because you could spend probably a couple of days enjoying White Sands, just that park, And then you've got other places. You got this Space History Museum in town, which is really another place you could spend an entire day easily. And there's Cloudcroft going up there. There's hiking. You could really make it a week's vacation easily, doing stuff.
And then you got the petroglyphs out by Three Rivers. And then you Valley of Fires. You could go there.
And there's probably more. That's just what we know about.
I know there's a zoo and stuff too here in Alamogordo. That's highly rated. I'm not sure what kind of animals they have. Well, there's the Italian place that I saw online.
Carino's?
Yeah. Is it actually in the motel? Oh. Oh, no, it's over there. It looked good, but the price was kind of high. Seems like all Italian restaurants overcharge.
It's funny because you think about it. The base ingredient is what? Pasta.
It's like the cheapest thing going. You know?
It's like French fries.
Hey, I like
Paying
my French
$4
fries.
for a pack of McDonald's French fries. They got what? 20 cents of potatoes in them?
I don't know.
How's that for markup?
With inflation, I think it's more than 20 cents these days.
You might be right. I like it when they short you and then you say, is there a potato shortage?
Yeah. I've done that a few times. I've asked them.
Because the markup is so high. They go, really? You can't just fill the container like it's supposed to look?
Well, to me, it's false advertising. You show a fry that's like bursting to the seams with fries. You better give it to me bursting to the seams with fries.
Right. Pictures or video. The thing is stuffed full that you can't stick another fry in it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to charge $4 or $5 for this thing, then I want it to look like the picture.
Exactly. Wendy's has a loaded nacho cheeseburger. Interesting.
Yeah, Western variant. That's probably good.
McDonald's had a green chili double cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Saw a sign for that. Well, I will say this, despite the flaws at our hotel, the beds were absolutely comfortable, and the bathroom was amazing. It was very spacious. Anti-slip in the tub, in the shower. Just a really nice experience.
Now here's a sign for Route 82. Now my understanding is 82 doesn't go beyond the junction of Route 70. But at one time they did mark it all the way to Las Cruces. So I wonder if that's a leftover, or if they routed now to the split of Route 54.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, look at those giant cacti.
We took US 82 across the Sacramento Mountains westbound. Really nice drive. The other option is US 70, which we're thinking about doing today. Up here's where you turn to go to the Space History Museum. 10th Street.
So I've been calling them cacti all this time, and they're prickly pears.
Okay. Those ones that look like acupuncture needles?
Yeah, the ones that look like they're like roundish.
They're flat they're kind of a flat leaf, yeah.
Yeah, but they're round when you look at them from their wider section.
Yeah,
they're
circular,
prickly
yeah.
pears.
Okay.
Here's the Tularosa Basin Museum of History bookstore and gift shop, but I don't think they're open today.
Oh.
They look kind of empty.
Waving at everybody.
Yeah. Those are called tree colas. They can grow to be 8 feet tall. Magenta and yellow lobed. Interesting. Oh, so the fruit is yellow lobed. Okay. Blooms are magenta. For the prickly pears, they're going to be up to 3 feet tall. The pads can be medium green. The spines can be yellow. They're endemic to the Chizos Mountains. The blooms are pale yellow to salmon color.
The Chizos Mountains, those are in southwest Texas.
Oh.
They're in Big Bend National Park.
I did not realize that.
So here's the other way to go to the Space Museum. Indian Wells Road.
Oh, we went down that road. That's how we got to the Space Museum yesterday.
Yeah, because we were up here further.
I see it. I see the rocket all the way from here. And there's that smoke shop over there across the way that's got the Alice in Wonderland mural.
Yeah.
That we came out next to this morning by accident. Because we missed our turn. The Space Museum is definitely worth it. That was really neat. The planetarium show was really cool. There were so many exhibits, it was kind of almost information overload for one visit. I think that'd be a 2-day kind of thing. And the price for it is very reasonable for what you get to see.
For the ticket admission, can you come back a consecutive day?
I do not know for sure.
I know with White Sands you can go back. Palm trees.
This was our home, the land of the palm trees. The laundry was very nice. Keep in mind though about the Space Museum is they're not open on Tuesdays.
Not open today. That's pretty much our drive-through of Alamogordo. Coming into the outskirt area now. Come back soon, says the sign on the left. Can signs say things?
I think we just say that even though we know they don't actually speak.
At work years ago, I was writing a report and I got really grilled over things like that. Like the data says, no, the data can't say anything. I had to learn how to write.
I see. So apparently school buses are forbidden from turning right on red here. They got a sticker on the bus. Well, based on the website, I don't think your tickets are good for more than one go at the Space Museum. I think it's a single day.
They're they're really not expensive.
No.
Like $10-ish to do a whole day.
Yeah, it's $9 if you just do the museum, and then if you want to do the planetarium show, I think it's like $11 for the combo. So definitely worth it. I think the planetarium show was roughly 40 minutes, maybe.
I don't think it was that long. Was it really?
Maybe it was shorter then. There are a lot of exhibits in the planetarium building, though, where they have the theater and the planetarium. A lot of different exhibits about satellites and planets.
They had a lot of stuff about Mars in the building on the planetarium.
Yeah, that was neat.
It was mostly informational stuff on the walls rather than exhibits. They had a few exhibits. So if you're into astronomy or space, it's definitely worth a visit. You'll find you'll spend more time there than you expect.
And then you got all the outdoor exhibits with the engines and the rockets and stuff. It's really neat.
They got a lot of authentic stuff on display that's on loan from the National Air and Space Museum out of Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it's neat.
I don't know if you remember visiting when you were younger, but I remember seeing a lot of rocket engines on display at this Air and Space Museum.
That's what I remember. Tularosa is 13. Ruidoso is 46. Hard to get in.
We're stuffed with our stuff. It's been a tight ride. I just don't know though if we're going to get a chance to do any nighttime astronomy.
I know I wanted to do that.
It's just spending too much time during the day.
Cozy moccasins to the left, it said.
On one hand, it would have been nice to have just known this is going to go all day and stay another night in Alamogordo, but on the other hand,
we got to make some progress.
If we don't start heading back, we're just not going to get back.
Yeah. Well, we got to go to Carlsbad Caverns for sure.
That's tomorrow.
Plan is to stay over in Carlsbad, New Mexico.
And then from there, we have to figure it out. Whether you want to do a flyby tour of Big Bend National Park or not.
Pistachio Land, see the world's largest pistachio. That's one big nut. Bigger is better. 1.3 miles on the left. I remember we drove by that last night in the dark and it was huge.
From vine to wine.
Yeah, the vineyard.
other thing that I heard in this video presentation at the visitor center at White Sands was how the climate has become drier because the lake, I forget the name of the lake, but there is a lake on the western side of White Sands.
Was it Otero Lake?
That was the ancient lake, and it was much bigger. I think it starts with an L, the lake that's there now.
Let me check the map.
It's named after somebody in history. But because of the...
Lake Lucero.
Yeah. Because of a very long drought, and I'm guessing we're talking hundreds of years or more, the lake has shrunk to what it is now. And I was thinking in the context of how there's a lot of issues in the West with water supplies. It could be that drought is the normal, and the wetter weather that we had in the 20th century was the anomaly.
Yeah, it could be.
In which case we're going to find that we don't have a sustainable population in the West unless we improve a lot on how we utilize water. So it could be that drought is normal.
You were asking earlier about whether the sand was cooler. Well, this definitely confirms it. Gypsum dunes are firmer and cooler than other types of dunes. Many people enjoy sledding on these unusual dunes.
Well, I'd say your test of putting your hand in it and filling your hand up with sand was the ultimate.
Yeah, and I didn't notice it being hot.
Yeah, you would have if it was.
If it was hot, I probably would have dropped it right away. But it did not feel that way to me. But I didn't think about it at the time because the rest of me was frying. You know? It was just one of those things. I wanted to do it. You know, I wanted to grab a handful when I was done, doing my photography, because you learned the first time you did it that it really sticks to your hand. So I was like, I'm going to wait till the end to do this so I don't get it on my camera or my phone.
It's very powdery.
It feels almost like white sugar. That's what it felt like in my hand.
White sugar is pretty granular.
But like fine white sugar.
Okay, like a powder sugar?
No, not like powdered sugar. It was more like white sugar than powdered sugar because of the coarseness of the sand. But it was like more smaller than the white sugar. You know? But you could feel the sharpness of it. Kind of like when we went to Valley Fires yesterday. You touched the rocks and they're sharp. This stuff felt kind of abrasive, We did see quite a few people walk around barefoot on it, so obviously it wasn't burning their feet. Whereas a typical, beach in the Northeast, if it was hot like this, you'd be like saying, ow, 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 I want to be in the water.
At least during the midday sun.
Yeah.
It'd be hot. Like it's rush hour in the desert.
Yeah, it does feel kind of that way. Hughes Farm and Ranch Supply. Now you could buy bales of hay. I definitely think some of the traffic is Eclipse people doing the same thing that we're doing. Since we've run into a few people now.
Yeah, the few people that we have talked to, quite a few, are traveling because of the eclipse.
Yeah, that's neat.
Some people doing bucket list trips.
It says historical marker up ahead. Oh, this is where those trucks were sleeping yesterday. They're pulled over, so that's why we couldn't see it.
De La Rosa Village limit. US 54 through traffic, keep left, 1/2 mile. $2,200 feet. I really don't know much about US 54, but it is marked as a north-south route here in New Mexico, even though it's an even number. That's
Here's the Trump wall.
oh yeah, it's a little bit of an anomaly.
There's a place called Ugly Pies. Oh, interesting.
Ugly Pies.
Yeah, that's what it was called back there on the right. Jim says, safe travels. Thanks, Jim. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here in New Mexico. A little bit warm. It's 84 degrees. We just got done roasting ourselves at White Sands National Park, but it was 100% worth it.
Yeah, we did the real touristy thing. We went to White Sands in the middle of the day.
Yeah. Got the cool visitor center experience. Got to see the exhibits, the 17-minute video about the history of the park. And went out to the Alkali Flats Trail and did some hiking.
Our plan was to go there last evening, but we got back too late.
Well, the Valley of Fires was really neat. It was just really cool to see it all with the sunset.
Yeah, I guess we should have flipped the schedule. We should have gone to White Sands and then today Valley of Fires. But it is what it is.
Jim says, never been out west. I'm the East Coast guy. Jim, I was just like you. It's my first time being out west. It's a really, really neat experience. I definitely want to come back. The low humidity is really nice. Here's one of the orchards. They've got water irrigation. Not sure what they're growing though. Though you have noticed that the sun feels a lot hotter. Like even if the temperature is cooler outside, it still feels a lot hotter than from Pennsylvania where we're from.
Yeah, we like to say it's not the heat, it's the humidity. But I think out here it's going to be, it's too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no humidity, but it's just too hot.
says he went to Las Vegas once, but that doesn't count. Yeah, we've driven from Pennsylvania all the way to New Mexico. We decided to do a trip for the solar eclipse, which was on Saturday. So we stayed in Hobbs, New Mexico for that, which was right on the center line. And then doing some sightseeing now as we work our way furthest west, and then gonna start heading back east.
San Andreas Mountains ahead of us there.
Just
in between two mountain ranges. It's pretty flat in this whole area between the mountains. Just small hills here and there.
the crossings it has for the water gullies, so when it rains, the water washes underneath. It's kind of interesting to see the washouts.
It's a busy rail line too. Several trains have gone by every night that we were staying in Alamogordo.
There was more than four.
You can hear several trains.
You hear some in the morning too.
Here's an irrigated crop circle on the left. You use circular irrigation equipment. From the air, they look like circles, because they are. Some places you see like a whole bunch of them, like squares and circles.
Yeah, that one's a rectangle there because it has the old-fashioned wagon wheel irrigation, the straight kind.
Yeah, I don't know how those work. They just go back and then the other direction. They go one direction and back the other way.
I don't know. I've never seen one in action. Jim says PA is a nice country. I drove up 81 all the time. Well, that's a faster way to get through PA, that's for sure. We prefer the more scenic ways.
81's a nice way, though.
Yeah.
It's one of the more scenic routes.
Here you can see some of the erosion sometimes on the right.
Yeah.
Well, what I meant was like we tend to try to avoid the interstates. Like on this trip we did US 22 and 62. Only had to get on an interstate because the bridge was closed from Illinois into Missouri.
Yeah.
So we were forced onto the interstate because we didn't have a choice. It's the only way to cross the river.
We learned today that they get about 10 inches of rain here a year.
That's not a lot of rain. But that explains why they have so many sunny days.
Yeah, that's one thing I can say about this trip. We've been pretty lucky, even from the beginning. That first day it was raining, but by the time we got started, the rain had just about tapered off, and then we didn't hit any more rain. I'm trying to think, did we hit any rain at all through the eastern part? I don't think we did.
No. We had some cooler weather in Ohio. It was down in the 40s the first night.
Yeah. And here the air temperature isn't bad, but if you're in the sun, it's hot.
If it's breezy though, like the eclipse day on Saturday, the breeze makes it feel so much cooler though.
Now what I've noticed is that it's gone into late afternoon now, and even though the sun is still pretty strong, not nearly as hot as it was midday.
Yeah.
The intensity is a lot less already, just because of the angle. So even though it's 84 degrees outside, it feels fairly pleasant. Should be just a few more miles, I would think.
I'm looking forward to this too, because I remember you telling me about visiting the petroglyphs many years ago, and you said you saw it. It was on a AAA brochure.
It was on the cover of a AAA book about New Mexico.
Yeah, and you said you found the exact petroglyph that was on the cover.
Yeah.
Which is pretty neat. Do you recall what it was?
No. I still have the book. I didn't bring it, but I think I'd had the book with me on the trip. Well, of course we did. We were touring, and back then we were using AAA books as our guidebooks.
Well, back then there was no internet.
No internet, no.
You had to use books and maps. Jim says that land is flat. Yeah, it is really neat. I know you can't really see it on the camera, but on the left you got the San Andres Mountains.
I think the Obscura Mountains are coming up on the left too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's multiple.
There's another mountain range in the foreground now on the left that's coming into view.
On the right, we got the big Sacramento Mountains.
Somewhere over there, probably further up, is where they detonated the first atomic bomb, the first test.
They call it the Trinity site.
I brought a Geiger counter with us. I'm guessing the radiation from that has subsided quite a bit. Be interesting to check. I haven't really noticed much difference. I didn't check it when we were up in Cloudcroft to see if it had gone up. Usually it goes up with elevation because of there's more radiation coming in from space.
Makes sense because you're higher up.
The higher you go up, yeah. You get much more radiation exposure on an airplane than you do at ground level. And radiation exposure is higher with elevation generally. We're not talking a lot, it's just kind of a background number. It's not like you're walking through the red forest downwind of Chernobyl.
Oh, yeah.
Where you get some significant numbers there. The times that I've checked it, it's been pretty much at ambient level. 0.1 microsieverts. Is that per hour? I think it's per hour.
Do you think we'll see a train today?
I'm surprised we haven't yet.
Yeah, I know.
We saw a few of them just coming up this way yesterday.
We saw one heading this way to Valley of Fires on the way, and on the way back we saw one in the dark.
I think it'll be right where we have the turn to go to the petroglyphs, because you got to cross the railroad. That's when we'll get the train.
Oh, that'd be cool. Jim asked us, are we doing Area 51? That's not on the agenda this time.
Isn't that in Nevada?
I think it might be. I think the plan is we're going to do Carlsbad Caverns tomorrow morning. And then try to go to the what is it, the
McDonald Observatory?
McDonald, I can't say the word. McDonald Observatory. And then try to see Big Ben a little bit. And then work our way back east.
It'll take a while just to go through Texas.
It'll be interesting to see if we see more of the oil pumping in Texas, because I was kind of surprised when we entered New Mexico how much we saw in some areas.
Yeah, there was a lot to the west of Hobbs, New Mexico. You look out in all directions and you just saw oil pumpers. It was just oil infrastructure everywhere.
If it wasn't an oil pump, it was a power line pole for oil pumps. It was very interesting.
We did see a lot of windmills in West Texas. Definitely some wind farms.
Here on the right, the sand, it looks sandier than it did before. More sandy than soil. Here's one of those railroad crossing bridges in the water.
like in Mexico, the speed limit on these kinds of roads is about 65. We noticed in Texas, in West Texas at least, 75.
Yeah, some of those roads in West Texas were not doable at 75 though.
They were a lot rougher. The pavement, it wasn't that they were, that the road was bad, it was just that the surface was very rough.
It made it very loud in the car.
Yeah, like this surface here, it's pretty quiet and very smooth.
Yeah. There was that stretch early on, a few miles back, that was a little louder. But yeah, this is pretty smooth. There's another water wash crossing for the railroad. We've seen some road signs saying the roads will flood if it rains because of how flat it is. Thankfully, we've not had that experience. Arizona, 34 miles.
It was too late to stop at Three Rivers on the way back from the lava flow yesterday. So we're going to try to catch it now.
Hopefully, it's not too busy.
Then the plan will be to backtrack to Tularosa and then take Route 70. I mean, we could go the rest of the way to Carrizozo and then take US 360. Is it 360 or 380? 380.
It's 380.
It's 380. That'd be the other way we could go.
I guess we'll figure that out after we're done
Yeah.
at Three Rivers.
That's pretty much our two choices: to cross the mountains to our east, which you can't really see, but they look pretty
Big.
they look like a pretty big barrier.
Do you know if both of them have tunnels, or is it just the one?
I don't know.
Because the road that goes through Cloudcroft, we actually went through a tunnel coming down.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about the tunnel. I
Oh,
don't
it
know
was
if
an
you-
amazing view.
I don't know. Was that part of the railroad, the tunnel?
I'm not sure.
They build all those trestles. What's another thing like a tunnel, right? It's amazing how much they had to do to build a railroad to go up to Cloudcroft.
And the elevation up there is really tall. It's 8,500 plus feet. So we did some hiking up there, and we are not used to the elevation.
Standard gauge, too.
Jim says, don't cross like the Donner Party. I take it they didn't cross appropriately, and things didn't go well. Here's the really interesting railroad bridge up here on the right. You see the metalwork for it. This is one of the bigger water, I guess, washes they call it, where it comes down.
Yeah, I think so.
And it'll be
dry wash.
kind of hard to see, but there's a lot of fauna growing down in this because of the water.
It's an area where water only flows when it's raining.
Yep. unfortunately, they put this big, ugly concrete edge on the bridge. So it's hard to see.
Pistachios? Is that what that
That's what
sign
it said, yeah. Interesting. It's a long way from home. There's an old little building here on the left.
Looks all abandoned. I wonder if this is part of the ranch era that came and went.
I think we're going to be entering Three Rivers shortly. I think this might be our turn.
Yeah. There aren't many turns, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it is. Yep, welcome to Three Rivers. It's the Three Rivers Trading Post. Petroglyphs Campground, the White Mountain Wilderness, and Three Rivers Campground.
The campground is closed.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had seen something about that. Now you can see the, I think these are still the Sacramento Mountains to our straight ahead.
Petroglyphs are 4.5 miles, campground's 13. They call it White Mountain Wilderness.
So maybe these are the White Mountains now.
Maybe. Well, here's the railroad.
Yeah, thinking about it, I think I've seen it on the map. These are the White Mountains. Yeah.
It's a double track here. No sign of a train.
Cattle guard here.
Oh, wow.
That's what this is. Yeah. That's to keep the cattle from getting out.
I take it they don't like walking on it.
No, they don't.
It looks like they could fall through it.
Hence the cattle sign.
Oh, wow, we could actually see them. That would be cool.
It's possible to encounter them blocking the road. That happened to me once in West Texas. These big longhorn steers were on the road. They just gave you a look. It's like, what are you doing here?
Jim asked, does the BNSF run the rail through there?
I believe that's the rail line.
I think that is the name of the rail. Look at all the water irrigation on the old style.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I would have to look at it on the map, but I think that's right.
Look at that view. That is amazing.
I think this is where, the mapping tool says go straight, is the shortest route to something. That might be a bad idea.
Yeah, I definitely would not listen to that.
If there is any road at all that goes up over here. I'll even warn you that there's a cattle guard.
This one looks a little rougher. It looks like it's got some grass growing through it. Wow, look at the view. That's so cool. I bought a plant guide for the Chihuahuan Desert for the native species. Because I've been really fascinated by the plants. Jim says, watch out for missiles from White Sands.
We should be safe over here.
Though we did have 2 jets swoop by us earlier.
There was signage that said that sometimes Route 70 will be closed because of activities. They say expect an hour delay when that happens. So I don't know what folks do. I guess just park the car and just relax for an hour. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they go get lunch or something.
Oh, let's go back to Alamogordo and get lunch. Yeah.
I mean, an hour in this type of heat is in a car. That does not sound like fun to me. The view of the mountains is amazing.
Yeah, we're just getting closer, aren't we? Look at this view.
Yeah.
This is spectacular. Honestly, I don't remember this. I guess it was all just too new, too long ago.
Yeah, it just looks really cool. I'm trying to grab some photos through the windshield.
This road is pretty rough. But still in good condition.
You can see the water runs along the road. You can see it's washed out in places.
Yeah, it's a lot deeper on the left side too.
I see that. Wouldn't want to run off the road.
You gotta stop, you stop on the road.
Just look at the erosion on the mountainside there, like straight ahead. I mean, it just looks, you see how you can see it? It's like forked coming down the mountain.
Yeah,
It's neat.
it's all bare.
Jim says petroglyphs would be cool to see. I'm gonna try to take some photos, and if I can get a few on video, I'll post a short video on my YouTube channel under Gwenny7, GWYNNY7. When we get home, I'll try to put some stuff up on Rumble and Facebook as well, or link it at least so you can find it.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed we still have signal coverage out here too. Who knows, that could drop at any time.
Yeah. AT&T hotspot's been pretty reliable. The smaller one that's close.
Coverage will just have to come back afterwards.
And upload it later. Look at the yellow flowers along the road, the little yellow shrubs.
Civilization's out here. There's electric. Just went under the power lines now.
I see some cars up ahead. RVs, maybe.
These could be the hills. I don't know.
Does any of it look familiar from when you visited before?
I kind of remember there were hills nearby where you park, but whether it's these hills here or not, I don't know. Now, if this is the site right up here or if it's something else. If that is the site, then I think it's these hills on our left that you have to walk up. Kind of looks like it might be it.
Got a road sign up here. Let's see what it says. It says petroglyphs to the left.
prehistoric village.
A prehistoric village that you can walk to, so we might check that out as well.
Yeah, there's a trail here. I see it.
Yeah. So we made it. Beautiful country.
Do not enter. Do not enter.
Three Rivers Petroglyph Site and picnic area. So we got the visitor center here on our right, where we're gonna go get our ticket.
Yeah. Just try to figure out where are we supposed to
There's
park?
parking over there.
In here?
Yeah, there's also parking over here too, I think.
I don't see any cars parked here. There's parking.
There's parking.
It says visitor parking. I guess that's us then. It's closed.
The visitor center is. So we might have to do the tube.
Yeah, however that works.
Yeah,
We'll have
not
to
sure.
figure that out.
All right. Well, we made it to Three Rivers Petroglyph Site. We're gonna get out, pay for our ticket, and go check it out. We'll take some videos and some photos, and definitely share with you how it went afterwards. We'll see you in a little bit. Well, probably more like over an hour, but we'll see how it goes. Thanks for riding along.